Hello everyone, welcome to QA Labs for you. I hope you all are safe and healthy. This is second episode of QA Samvad Season 2, and in this episode we have a special guest who is having 12 years of experience as a quality engineer. He started his journey in 2012 with TCS. Afterwards he has joined Mindtree, then GE Digital, GE Aviation, and currently he is associated with Boeing. If I talk about his expertise, he is expert into Selenium, Rest Assured, robot framework, and currently he is in love with Playwright. He has developed his own Playwright based automation framework, which is being used by so many professionals in the industry. If you are someone who is looking for advices from Playwright world, I guess this episode is for you. If you are someone who wants to add Playwright into your toolkit, I guess then this episode is for you. So without wasting any more time, I'm just calling Akshay on the show. Hi Akshay, how are you?
Hi Shrikant. I'm doing good. How about you?
All good, all good. Thanks for joining QA Samvad.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Shrikant. I have been watching your QA Samad for quite a while now, and I like the approach which you're taking rather than like most of the podcasts I have seen. It's on mostly on the technical part, which is well and good, but you have taken a different approach of exploring the experiences of of the guests, so
Mhm.
that it can even add value to people who are new to the community and all. So I like the approach.
Thanks, Akshay. And
Mhm.
I guess we all know that you are currently contributing into the Playwright ecosystem, right?
Yes.
A lot of professionals are using your framework also, right?
Mhm.
But before discussing more about your current contribution, I just want to know how exactly things started. I mean,
Mhm.
how you started into QA.
Yeah. So the journey goes back 12 years
Mhm.
prior. So I have completed my ANC in BTech from BUB College, and I got placed in TCS.
Okay.
And I was working in a completely different field, which is 4G communication. So that time 4G has started taking off, and I was a part of manual testing in that. Uh, and To be frank, I was not quite interested in programming.
Okay.
So I was scared of Java, to be frank.
Mhm.
So what happened is one day when I was just looking into one documentary, which was by Linus Torvalds.
Mhm.
So he was telling like he built something for himself
Mhm.
and like Git Bash and Linux. Linus Torvald built for himself, and later it started catching up. So that was one thing which I was quite amazed, and I thought, okay, let me try my hand in coding.
Mhm.
So I joined Q Spiders that time, and that time Selenium was like catching up. So I got myself trained in Java and Selenium.
Okay.
And TCS, I built a small project based on TestNG Java Selenium.
Mhm.
Then my transition into Mindtree. So
Mhm.
there I got opportunity to work with different set of things. API was also new that time. I got working with API,
Right.
and it was something very new to me. And that time there was no much tutorial and all. Everything we have to read Stack Overflow and all. So
That's right.
then I got to know about this GitHub, Git commands, and Cucumber.
Mhm.
My entry was like a Kickstarter for me. There I learned lots of things about automation and frameworks. So later point of time, I went to General Electric
Mhm.
in aviation division. So
Mhm.
there I got to know much about other things like performance testing. So I got introduced to JMeter
Mhm.
and keyword driven framework called Robot Framework. So I have pretty much experiences on that as well. And while I was in GV, I was simultaneously working with the Playwright. So
Mhm.
currently I'm working in Boeing. Here internally we are using Selenium,
Mhm.
and there is some tool that is coming up in Boeing, which is their internal tool. Then
Okay.
we have Locust, JMeter, pretty much standard set of tools along with Playwright as well in
Mhm.
some projects. So yeah, that is my journey so far as a QA.
It's great. You have worked
Yeah,
with functional as well as on the non-functional part, right?
yeah.
I'm also a ECE student, so I totally understand how you have transitioned from, I mean, non-coding background to coding background, right?
Correct. Yeah, can relate then.
Yeah, I can easily relate. So,
Yes,
what was
yes.
your turning point? I mean, I understand that when we start
Hmm.
working as a QA, we have to work as a functional tester, or we can say
Correct,
technical tester, right?
correct.
Definitely, like right now, it's a need that we have to learn,
Hmm.
then only you can survive. But back
Hmm.
in the days, I mean, in 2012 or 2014, right, it was
Hmm.
like that mandatory to go for
Hmm.
automation, right? But still, you have moved and you have learned about Selenium, Java, right? Rest assured, all those stuff at that time.
Hmm.
So, what was your biggest turning point?
Yes. So first one, I have already mentioned that documentary named Code by Linus Torvalds.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw his passion for coding,
Mm-hmm.
and second was Iron Man. So you can see he's automating things up. So that was completely like, and Selenium was also kind of that kind of tool that time. So it will automate the things for you. So it is like someone is doing things for you, so you can focus on
Mhm.
other things. So what happened was, as you know, like I was not well versed with Java. I used to get scared of Java,
Mhm.
and generally in programming.
Mhm.
So one day, what I did was I was just skipping from institute to institute.
Mhm.
So I went to Q Spiders, and the guy who was teaching explained static and non-static variables,
Mhm.
and that was the turning point of me because I could grasp the concepts. Okay, so this is static, okay, it is class variable. Non-static, so then I started feeling, okay, yeah, this is not too tough. So
Right.
then slowly I started catching on with Java
Mhm.
and Selenium. So this is like completely random things I am saying, like movies and this, but this is what the turning point came in. Like what I believe is, if
Mhm.
you're scared of any subject and all, then you have not met the right tutor, or you have not reached the right medium yet. Because once you get the right tutor or right medium, things will start getting simpler.
Right. Right.
So that was my turning point. So that time I started loving Java. So okay, so this is the thing we can do with programming and all those things. So
Correct.
yeah.
It's nice. I mean, I totally understand the journey part, right?
Correct.
To understand the challenges, right? Because
Hmm.
you said that after watching Iron Man, right, or
Yes.
other stuff, you were inspired and you thought that you should
Correct.
move into automation.
Hmm.
I know that the role of mentor or tutor is very
Hmm.
important. But again, it's on us also as a student
Correct.
or as a learner. If we
Hmm.
will not contribute or not invest time on learning, it is not possible, right?
Correct. Correct.
So there must be some challenges, what you have, I mean, definitely tackled at that moment, right? So what was
Yes.
those challenges?
Yes. So personally, I would say like you need lots of practice for programming. So that was one of the challenge when you're new to programming
Mhm.
and you're from a non-programming background. So
Mhm.
things will get a little bit complicated. You need to know the math behind it.
Mhm.
You need to know what is the structure, what the particular things does what, and those things. Those things were the challenges.
Right.
And one of the challenges which I remember was with respect to Git. So Git was very new to me,
Mhm.
and like I was completely new. I didn't know the commands well.
Mhm.
So one thing happened, like I committed something wrong, like it was not supposed to get committed in the master branch. So that was a mistake,
Mhm.
and so then I had to revert it back. So
Right.
that was like very challenging because I don't know the commands, and it was like in Git, if you do something wrong, it is little bit tricky for that
Right.
time for me to revert back because there was no chat GPT or anything. So I had to ask people, two, three people, like how to do it, and I could remember like I spent
Mhm.
a full day reverting all those things, and then I got to know, oh, these are the commands, and I still remember those commands.
Right. Right.
Because when you do a mistake and you're paying for it, then you learn from that mistake and you never forget that. So that was one of the like what they say challenges. And second thing is, I got one good piece of advice from my colleague
Mhm.
at Mindtree. So what happens is when you learn something new, right, you go and keep on asking doubts to your seniors, like how to do this, how to do this,
Right.
I'm stuck here. He just said me one thing: you read the log. So
Okay.
that was like what they say, turning statement. Like you have to always see the logs because all the things, whatever the errors are there, there is in logs. So what usually happens is people, when things starts failing, they don't go to the log. If there is any senior available, they just go to senior and ask like, what is this happening? Why is this happening? So rather than that, I would say them to go to the log and check the log because each and every information is present in that log. So
Right.
those are two challenges and two things which I learned.
You said about this chat GPT, right?
Hmm.
In this
Hmm.
current time, we know that
Correct.
AI is everywhere, right? Still, professionals should scared of programming because with the help of AI tools, we can generate a script in any languages, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
even like the kit commands or everything, whatever we want to search, we can go and
Hmm.
check it out on ChatGPT or any
Hmm.
application, AI-based
Hmm.
application. Right? It will give us the resources or it will give us the results. So
Agree.
feel that this learning part is very much easy now compared
Hmm.
to the I mean 2012
Hmm.
or 2014, right? But
Correct.
at the same time, I feel that the learning from the mistakes, that is
Hmm.
we are not getting it, right? Like
Correct.
when you were doing this Git related stuff, you made
Hmm.
mistakes. Afterwards, you realize how you will fix it. till
Mm-hmm.
this date, you know what you, I mean, what all mistakes you did it, right? But
Mm-hmm.
right now, everyone is using Chat GPT. They just go and, I mean, paste their errors and get the results. So, do
Mm-hmm.
you think that this kind of tech advancement is very much dangerous for the newcomers or the new engineers?
No, actually, I had a different take on it.
Okay.
Yeah, but see, what happens is, so like I said,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, you should have the knowledge of programming to use ChatGPT also.
Right.
ChatGPT, you give this in Java, it will blurt out a code, something,
Mhm.
okay, from where it is trained. So we should consider that ChatGPT is getting the data from somewhere, from some training model, and that might not be applicable for you, right? You will have some like specific set of statement, you feed it will give out the solution.
Right.
But first of all, you should know the programming language to get the solution,
Right.
right? So that part you have to keep in mind. So whatever ChatGPT is there, anything is there, you should have a basic programming knowledge, maybe on Java, JavaScript, or say anything. Okay. So coming to the question you asked.
Mhm.
So as I said, I spent one whole day to fix the error, which could have been done in 5 minutes if I had ChatGPT.
Right.
So now going forward, if people are able to figure out that, like, okay, there is some error and they can fix it, they can invest their time in something much more challenging, or solving some problem which is much more niche.
Mm.
So that is my take on that. Like, instead of spending hours looking for solution, if you are stuck on it, if you are stuck somewhere, you have to go through all the Stack Overflow earlier, right? So you have to go to the solution, apply it, whether it is giving the results and not. But now you can just give it to, like, ChatGPT to give you a solution. You
Right.
try it on. If it solves the issue and if you are aware of the solution, you should be aware of the solution, right? Before putting copy pasting. What
Right.
am I doing? Because going forward, that might also break. So you should be aware of your solution, and you can focus your time on something else or solving some more challenges in the industry. That is my take on that.
Right. 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 Basics. I mean, we can't escape basics, right?
Yes,
Unless
yes.
you're not strong with your basics,
Mm-hmm.
not good to, I mean, get the results from AI related tools, right?
Correct, correct, correct. Agree that.
Okay, fine, fine, Akshay. So, Akshay, I just want to know about your inspiration or your thoughts on developing a playwright framework for the community. I mean, why you have created that framework? Any specific reason?
So, like I said, I did this framework for myself. It
Mhm.
was not for like public use. So, open source. I am open source enthusiast. So, I keep on distro hopping, like changing Linux and all those things. So, I am big into like open source.
Mhm.
So, the idea started because we are using Selenium, and that too many big industries are using Selenium. That too free of cost,
Mhm.
and people are contributing to that with like they are getting some monetary support, but they are not on payrolls, right? So they are just giving back to society.
Mhm.
So the thought came into my mind, like, let me do something. So if you give to community, community will give back to you,
Okay.
right? So I did Playwright for my personal use only.
Mhm.
Okay, I discussed with my friend, like, there is some new tool, Playwright, so let's try it out. So I did my first commit, and at that point of time, there is a person, Kaushik Chatterjee, Let Code with Kaushik. He was
Mhm.
also running the tutorials. So
Mhm.
I went through the tutorials, I discussed with him, and like I started posting it on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
So what happened is, like, first of all, I was into clear notion that I will not get any money from this.
Okay.
So that is clear from my part. So
Mhm.
I don't want to make any profit out of this framework. And I will tell you the other part of it. Okay, so once I started contributing and people started knowing, like, okay, this is in TypeScript and all,
Mhm.
I started getting responses from people like, you can do this in this way. I
Okay.
don't have a Mac system at home. I just use Linux and Windows.
Mhm.
So my framework had Mac issues. Okay, so if it was my own framework, I have to go and like ask someone to do it on Mac or buy a Mac.
Right.
But in GitHub, some person came and said, like, this is the problem in Mac and you can solve it using that
Mhm.
command, right? So people are contributing to your framework, and it started getting big. And I was kind of happy also. Like, in LinkedIn, you sometimes get messages like, "We are using your framework, and thanks for your work. Because of you, we are doing." So that makes me feel happy from inside. So that was the main reason I started going towards open source. And the one thing I keep in mind is, like, one person cannot do. You can be like high level coder and you can do anything, but without community, one brain cannot have many ideas. So
Right.
once you open source and you give it for people, people will, if like people like your work and want to contribute, they will only commit and they will only come up with this like, this is there is this error in your framework, so
Right.
you handle this in this way, or okay, you are doing this, so I want something on performance. So can you look into this? And this is one tool you can explore. So my knowledge is also getting increased. So we are both ways getting benefited. So that is the main idea.
Nice, nice. So as of now, what are
Mhm.
unexpected benefits you have, I mean, get it from this contributing into open source? Any unexpected benefits?
Yes. To be frank, first of all, I would like to thank community for where my framework is now, because I never expected it would get so much love from the community. And unexpected benefits is like you will get to connect with more people. That is one of the benefit. So I got a podcast opportunity with Joe Colantonio when first I was starting with the framework. So he said you can come to the show, and because of that, like people start knowing you. Like okay, this is this guy, this is the player testing domain and all those things. So your reach in the LinkedIn will grow. So that is one thing which you get from open source. And second thing, like I said, you will get a kind of satisfaction when
Right.
someone says we are working your, we are like, that is another benefit. So if someone says you like because of your work it has impacted so much in my organization.
Right.
So that is another kind of benefit which I reap from this open source.
Right.
And third thing is there is no time constraint. Like in job, you have to go from like 9 to 6 every day you have to do. But open source, you can do it at as your leisure time.
Right.
And I am of a belief that if you put a price on something, and if you're trying to like deliver on time or something like that, then the creativity gets destroyed. So the art of the thing gets destroyed. So you have to take your leisure time. You have to like think on the ideas and do it at your own pace. So open source gives you this like own pace wala thing. So you can do things at your own pace. No one is forcing you, and no one is putting pressure on you, and over that you are getting suggestions from the people, right? So that is another thing which I like think about open source.
Nice, nice, Akshay.
Mhm.
I feel that you are very much passionate about Playwright and
Yes,
contributing to this open source ecosystem, right?
correct.
So one thing which is coming into my mind right now, like
Mhm.
we know Selenium, right?
Mhm.
Selenium with JS and TS is also feasible, right? So
Correct.
you have picked Playwright, right?
Mhm.
I just want to know why Playwright over Selenium. You have already worked on Selenium, right? You
Yes,
started your automation journey with Selenium, right? But
correct, correct.
instead of Selenium with JS and TS, you picked Playwright, right?
Correct.
So you betrayed Selenium, right? So I want to know the reason.
Yeah, Shrikant, nice question. So Selenium, you can see user base is very wide,
Right,
and you have too many solutions. So if I provide a solution in Selenium, there are already very good solutions with Serenity is there. That is with JS. That is like very much popular, and there are many frameworks on Selenium with JS and TS. So you should enter a space. And luckily for me, that time on Playwright with TypeScript, there were no much resources. So you have to enter a space where there is less resources. And why I chose TypeScript, I will tell you that also. Okay, because I love Java.
right,
I use JavaScript, but when you type, right, you will get that int float. It is automatic, like it is your muscle memory, right? So I thought, okay, let me see with TypeScript.
okay.
Okay, so what will happen? So I went, I learned, there is one tutorial, programming with Mosh.
Mhm.
So it gives you very basics of each and every programming language. That is very good. Like within 2 hours, you will know basics, the basics of any language. So I thought, okay, so let me try it with Playwright with TypeScript. And one thing is, some things are compatible with some languages only, right? So Java Selenium. So that is kind of a pair. So if you are using Selenium, Java is the most used framework. And in Playwright, if you are using Java, right, the lines of code which I tried that time, I tried it with Java as well. Playwright, the lines of code was little bit more. So in TypeScript, the lines of code for Playwright was very less. And that time, Playwright was in initial days, it was giving very good support on JavaScript and TypeScript. That's why I thought, okay, I will choose TypeScript. So I started building Playwright with TypeScript, and it was something new for me as well. So Selenium, like you said, I have started my career on the on Selenium, and I would say I'm like intermediate in Selenium. I know most of the things on Selenium. So it's good if you know some other tool as well, right? It is good to have like, because requirements you don't know in the company. Like it might they might tomorrow say like you have to work on Playwright some some other language like TypeScript and Selenium. So the more you know, the better. So that's why I chose Playwright and TypeScript, and it was in the nascent phase. So like being a tester, you want to test the things out, right? So if you're building a framework and using their Playwright, so you can contribute to it by posting more issues and all. So that was one thrilling part for me. So Playwright was very nascent, and it was like you can beta test it also 4 years back. I'm saying 4 years back, right? So that was giving a joy, like you are contributing to a framework from the start. So that's why I chose Playwright over Selenium. And yeah, my respect to Selenium because I have started career with Selenium. So
Selenium
yeah,
is always the first love for any.
yes, yes, exactly, yes.
Akshay, I mean, in 2025, I have seen this Playwright is booming very much. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
every company, if someone is going to start new project, most of the time
Correct.
they used to prefer the Playwright, right? Even
Yes,
clients are preferring Playwright. So,
correct.
what are reasons? I mean, why everyone is looking towards Playwright instead of Selenium?
Okay.
We have Selenium user base, right? Huge,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Selenium has already spent 20 years, but still, I have seen little growth in this Playwright, especially in 2025, right? So, what all reasons you think of right now?
Okay. So let me first start why Playwright over Selenium. Okay. So first there is speed. So to tell you in the like top level, if you are using Selenium, there is a client in between. Okay. So you are giving some instructions. So it has to go to the client. Client will give to browser. Browser will again give it to client. Client will command perform the actions. So
Yes.
there is one layer in between. Okay. But in Playwright they are using WebSocket protocol, which is you can imagine there is no client in middle. It is directly interacting with your browser.
Mhm.
Okay. So the execution time is very fast. So that is the first thing. Second thing, if you are using Selenium, if you are using Chrome driver, Firefox driver, you have to write some lines of statements, right? Is equal to new Chrome driver is equal to new Firefox driver. Then if you are adding capabilities like maximizing the browser
Mhm.
or putting the browser in some pixel or you are running in headless mode, you have to give commands for everything.
Right.
In Playwright, there is one config file in which you define everything, and that is for every browser. For every browser, you are giving a JSON. Like this browser, I want in this many pixels, I want in headless mode, and whatever you want. And coming to this point, there is one thing in Playwright which I like the most is called trace viewer. Okay, so in trace viewer, what happens is, and you can give this trace viewer on failure. Okay, so on failure, you can give it in that JSON file. Whenever my test suite fails, you
Mhm.
can give a trace viewer. So trace viewer, what it does is, on one side it gives you all the steps,
Mhm.
okay, along with the failure steps. So if you click on failure step on the side pane, you will get the browser, like what happened. That video is also embedded there. Okay, so you can see at what second what happened. Okay, so that is that. And below you are getting network logs.
Nice.
So which network which this parameter failed in that, okay, or which API failed in that, at what time, on which step, okay, along with the error statements also.
Mhm.
So it is like a whole bundle. You give it to a developer.
Right.
Otherwise, what you have to do, if anything fails, you have to go, you have to add a screenshot, you have to go to network log. And if you, for example, forget to take the network logs, how can you like give it to the developer? Okay. So all this is bundled in that, and it is like a time travel. You
Mhm.
know what is the best thing about Trace Viewer? You
Mhm.
can see the previous step, the state of the browser. For example, if you click on login button, okay, you can see that you have clicked on login, and next moment it is failing with the error. That also you can see side by side. So it animates your browser, and the timeline will be on top. So that is one of the best features which Playwright is giving. Over that you have video recording as well.
Mhm.
Okay, and all this I'm telling you can configure in single JSON file. No
Mhm.
need for you to write extra commands like in Cucumber and all we write hooks and all. Right, in this there is no need for hooks and all. Okay, so that is one thing which I like very much about Playwright. And what I'm predicting is Playwright is owned by Microsoft. So integration with Azure Cloud will be much more easier coming forward.
Mhm.
Okay, because it is all come under it all comes under the Microsoft ecosystem. So
Nice.
that is one point. It has visual comparison also. That you can take the screenshots of two and you can compare it. Not possible in Selenium. You have to take a third party tool for that. Okay. API automation is there in Playwright. In Selenium, you have to use REST assured, right?
Selenium is
And in Selenium,
fast.
yes,
Okay.
correct. Yeah. And another thing is, in Selenium, you have some locators by text, okay, by ID, by class. In this, you can use by role, by label. by area name. So many locators are there, and it is going on added. Even I lost the count of it. How many locators are there in this? Okay. And there is one concept in Selenium called shadow DOM piercing. Selenium cannot pierce the shadow DOM unless you give certain commands. Go in the frame and do this. But in Playwright, you can directly pierce the shadow DOM, right? So this is another thing. So there are so many benefits.
Nice, nice.
And the if you're writing Playwright in JavaScript and TypeScript, the code size will also be very small. Okay. And the main thing in Playwright is you can give in Selenium we have that explicit wait, right? Wait
Right.
for this element and all those things. In this it is even further. Okay, it listens to the browser also. Like you can even give like wait until network is idle, wait until DOM content is loaded. So it will be listening to the browser and it will click only after the DOM content is loaded, or it will click only after the network is idle. Network is idle means if for 30 seconds there is no API calls going on, that means everything is loaded, right?
Right.
So these kind of weights you are getting. Okay. So that is also one of the biggest feature in Playwright. So that is why I think market is getting attracted to Playwright. And you can see in every releases, they are adding something or the other, something new.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. So maybe new locator,
Mhm.
and currently they have something called as area snapshots. Okay, in area snapshots, if I'm not wrong, they will give the skeleton of the DOM itself. You will have HTML, div, and all those things. So they are trying to innovate something new every time. So that is why I think like people are looking forward to Playwright. So
Right.
Selenium will be there, but Playwright also will be there. Both will be there. That is what I feel.
In this current time, I agree that Playwright is a good competitor for
Yes.
but I want to know, do you think this playwright has potential just like Selenium to stay or to survive for next 20 years? Like Selenium has already completed 20 years in the market, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
think similar kind of structure or similar kind of stability playwright will have for next 20 years like that. I mean, any idea?
Yes. So I can give a rough overview on this. So currently, if you see in GitHub, it has so many thousands of stars.
Mhm.
And what I'm seeing, I'm with Playwright for around 4 years. I'm seeing like they're continuously improving. Okay, and the tool only stays in market when there is a continuous improvement, and users are interested to use the tool, and they're taking user feedback as well. So one thing I would like to mention: if you are going to Playwright's GitHub page, and if you are posting any issue, okay, within 48 hours they're reverting. So that I have seen. Within 48 hours, they will give you a solution. They will say like, or they will say like, this is possible or not possible, or whether it is coming in the further releases. So that is one very good community support, which I am seeing in Playwright. Within 48 hours, they will revert. Okay. And if you don't know the backstory, Playwright was previously Puppeteer. Okay. So these folks from Google, they developed Puppeteer. And that's why it is very fast, because Puppeteer was integrated into Google's browser, right? So these folks moved out and they started building on top of Puppeteer as a Playwright. Okay, so it was previously Puppeteer, then it became Playwright. So, like you're saying, 20 years down the line, Playwright will be there, or might be they will build something on Playwright and they will give it a new name. But Playwright will be there because user traction is very huge, it is very exponential, and it is open source. They are not charging anything. Okay, so for other tools, if you want enterprise support and all, you need to pay certain charges. These people are not like charging for that, and the way it interacts with the browser also is very good. So looking at it, I think like Playwright will be there, and people are even showing interest, like you said. So many AI tools are coming up with Playwright, right? So I think it will be staying for a long time, and it is backed by Microsoft, so it is one of the giant.
Right.
So like yeah,
Agree.
I feel it will be staying for long here.
So Akshay, I mean, you also started your journey with Selenium, then moved into Playwright. So
Mm-hmm,
similar, if someone has worked into Selenium with Java, right? Experienced QA or I mean fresher, right? Because even right now, what I have seen, final year students are aware of Selenium with Java, right?
mm-hmm,
They
mm-hmm,
already completed the courses from Udemy and all, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Now, as we know, this playwright is in demand, right? So, what
mm-hmm,
should be the learning curve or roadmap to start
mm-hmm.
the journey with playwright? Because if someone doesn't know about JS or TS or this playwright, right? Only he's comfortable with Selenium with Java. How he can start moving towards the new tool into his bucket?
Okay. So first of all, you need to learn either. My recommendation is Playwright works with Python, it works with Java, it works with all the language stack. But my personal preference would be he would start learning JS or TypeScript. Okay, that is very basics. You can go to any tutorials. There are one or two or tutorials in that. You need to know what is async await and some of the few basics in attached script, what is module exports and all. And since the person is experienced on Java, he will not have any hurdle in learning that. Okay, few terms are a little bit different. Okay, and if you want to go on Playwright, there are very good channels. One is, like I mentioned, Let Code with Kaushik.
Mhm.
There is another good tutorial by Naveen Kunteta, Naveen Automation Labs. He has given it in Java, Playwright with Java. So if you are comfortable with Java, you can go with Java. And there is another channel called Execute Automation, which is run by Karthik,
Okay.
and it also focuses on Playwright. You can pick any one of these tutorial, and you can start the journey with Playwright. And I would say like it will not take you like more than a month to get comfortable with Playwright. There are many changes, new changes coming up with the Playwright.
Mhm.
But like you said, Shrikant, there is ChatGPT for your help as well, right?
Right.
So you just need to learn the basics. You just need to learn how to configure. Like if like you said, if you do init command, it will create a folder structure for you and give.
Right.
Right. So you just need to explore the folder structure. And Playwright has very good documentation also. So if you have any confusions and all, just go to the documentation and search for your confusion. You
Mhm.
will get a very good documentation over that. And even if you have so many, like if you, even if the documentation is not clearing your doubts, there is a Discord channel for Playwright as well. You can go to Discord and join their channel, and you can post a question there. And still if you're not satisfied, you can go to their GitHub page and you can raise the issue or ask the question,
Right.
like I'm getting this issue, what you know, then they will revert within 48 hours. So that is Akka from their side. I have experienced it 2 3 times. They will revert it in 48 hours. So
Okay.
there are so many resources. So I will not say it will take much time, maybe a month or so,
Right.
to get your hands, like because why I'm saying you can learn even less than that. Why I'm saying a month is usually you need to go wrap your head around the tool. You need to learn new things and all. So it might take a month for you to get proficient, but if you want to pick up, you can just pick up it in 2 weeks as well. Continuously read about resources on Playwright, and whatever like framework is available. There are so many frameworks on GitHub available. You can clone any framework and start working on it. But little bit efforts is required, Shrikant. That is what I feel, because there is a little bit async and await. In Java, there is no async await concepts, but here there is like a little bit async await is there. Then there is like I said, I had put fixtures concept is there. So little bit you have to learn and practice. But yeah, you can pick it up quite easy. It is not very tough.
Okay. There are a lot of resources available
Hmm.
community as well as
Correct.
support is there, right?
Yes.
If you stuck somewhere, you can post it. Even I have seen on the LinkedIn, support is very much good.
Yes. Very good. Yes.
Yeah, fine. And we know that AI is there, so AI is
Mm.
also that support, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
on that part, I want to understand one thing. Like AI is booming, and on this AI era, this Cursor AI or GitHub Copilot, right?
Uh-huh.
Other tools are available where we can generate the test script directly
Hmm.
without
Uh-huh.
writing anything, right? So in this way, do you think it is a threat for automation engineers?
Good question, Shrikant. Okay. So, what it is giving you is a code snippet, right? Like you say something in GitHub Copilot, like I want this. It will give you some statement. It will give you, okay. But why engineers are required is they have to build the framework, right? It is not giving you a complete framework.
Right.
And what Copilot or any of the tool, it is a generic tool. It is trained on something and it is giving output based on
Mhm.
that thing for which it is trained. So my understanding is you might have some niche needs in your domain. Okay, so there might be some domain issues which Copilot might not be aware of, which you only can solve because you know the domain.
Right.
So there is no threat for you. And you, the question is, I remember Shrikant, 10 years back they were saying like if you don't know automation testing, you will be replaced,
Right.
right? That was one thing. Like Selenium will is coming and they will take up your job, tumhara job kha jayega, this that
Right.
things. But still, manual testing is going on, right? And automation is a support, right? Manual testing is also going on. Automation, if you know, it is very good skill.
Right.
Like that, now you know manual and automation. If you know AI Copilot, it is a very good skill.
Right.
And you can use Copilot to do your repetitive tasks. You want to generate some Excel, okay, use Copilot, it will generate Excel. If you want to write some text script, like for example, how to download, you are not able to find something, you can give it to Copilot, it will give you a generate code. But how will you fix it in your framework,
Mhm.
right? So that is your part. That is the first thing, because you are designing your framework. And you might have you should retry it 3 times, 4 times, and all those things. So it will, as I know, Copilot is not giving you the complete framework. as you give it, it is giving you something generic. So you have to build the framework by yourself. Okay, so that is one thing which I am thinking of with this copilot. And second point is like it is removing your repetitive tasks, so you can focus on something else. You can focus on some different type of testing and those things. Okay, so it is not going to replace you. I think the nature of job will change, that's it. Like previously, for example, if you are having 1 lakh records. Okay, so let's take my example. So there are some 1 lakh records to generate it, or if it is just copy paste also, it will take half an hour to 1 hour to generate so many records. Rather than you generating, you can give it to AI. So you can say like these are things, this is there, and it will generate and give it to you. So you can focus on writing much better code.
Right.
And currently, another thing is AI might be 89 to 90% efficient. Okay, it will give you some code, but someone is required to review the code as well, right? You cannot just AI is giving, you cannot copy paste and say it is working now, right?
Right.
You need someone to review, and who will review that,
Right.
right? So I would say, okay, it is not a threat. Like the nature of job might change. So instead of 2 people doing the job, 1 person will do the job.
Right.
Like automation testing now. Like instead of 5 people doing manual testing, they are saying, okay, 2 resources required, who knows manual and automation, right? So nature of job has changed. So it is better you get prepared. You need to know what is this AI agent, what is this copilot, how to give prompts and all. So it will be a good addition to your skill set. But someone is required to review the code, and someone is required to think how to write the framework based on your business needs, right?
Right.
So yeah, I would say like that. It will change the nature of job, but you are not in threat. So that is what I feel.
So, Akshay, I mean, as you said about agents, right? AI.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen one open source AI agent browser,
Correct.
right? And
Yes.
it's kind of controlling your browser, right? Just you need
Correct. Correct.
give the prompt and it will perform all your actions, right? And on the back
Yes.
end, again, Playwright is being used, right? So
Correct. Correct.
if communities start using such tools, right, and they simply put down the, I mean, prompts, and all things will get automated, right? So in that case, this kind of work can be done with the functional tester. There is no need for any technical or any coder, right? Any SDET or any automation engineers. So in that space, what do you think? I mean,
Yes.
functional tester is safe compared to the automation engineer?
Yeah, see, my answer would be the same. Like
Okay.
you said, browser use. I know about that tool. I have gone through the tool. There is another tool also called Zero Step, and there are many agents like Playwright is there. Then Playwright CLI are there. There are so many agents are there, and they are all 89% effective. So let's say it is 89% effective. Okay. Still, if you are prompting something, you create a user, you log in and all. It will do that login, and it will give you a script. Okay, so again, you have to verify that, right? Someone needs to verify those scripts.
Right.
And rather than thinking it will take my job, you can use it for your, like I said, agents are like we had RPA, right? Robotic process automation. Agents are nothing but kind of that evolution of that, I can say, right? So it is trained on some model, and whatever you are doing, the repetitive tasks like login, log out, and all. So it will give you the code, okay? So let's say, okay, what we are doing is we are saying agents, you go to do this, you register a user, and you're doing something. It is giving out the code. Now you have the code, but you have to arrange based on your framework, right? It is not writing a framework for you. It is just giving you the code. So you have to again go and arrange, and it will give you generic outputs. It will not give you specific to your system,
Mm.
right? It is something generic. Okay, let's say you want a user who is a system admin or some role or something. That requires might be DB intervention as well, right? So it is not going to connect to your DB. Maybe in the future it will go and connect. But again, you have to like connect to the DB and do those things, right?
Right.
So, like I said, it is a good helper. It is just like your peer. Okay, you are saying to your peer, let's say you have some peer and you are saying you go and do this and do that. So he will do it. So you have to review it, right?
Mm.
So
Right.
that is also one thing we have to keep in mind. So it is there just to reduce your job, not to take your job,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
It will reduce your job, and that is also like, for example, there is another tool which will write test case for you, right? So it will write and give you test case. You review the test case. Then what is there? You can what is there to that? Then you have to automate it, right? So your time to write the test case will get saved,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
So that is how we have to take to this. Okay, and one thing is like if one thing gets hyped, it gets hyped out of proportions.
Mhm.
And currently, there is one of my friend who is AI expert. Currently, AI is evolving. Today only there is one tool called a Grok 3. It is released by like Elon Musk. Okay, and they are saying it is much effective and giving more good results than DeepSeek.
Okay.
Okay, tomorrow there might be another tool. Tools will keep on coming. But here the thing is, whether it is truly open source, no. Why? Because for this one also, which you are saying browser use, it requires open API key,
Right.
right? Which is paid. That is a paid key. Otherwise, you can use it for some time, right? So it is not what I feel is truly open source. You have to pay something. So that is there. Secondly, uh, the resources used for AI is very large. You need a much more number of GPUs,
Right.
okay, which is not quite efficient. And if you are using these tools,
Mhm.
uh, which I personally have used is Selenium. Okay, it was with the Selenium. It used to heal locators. Okay, so it will heal the locators, but again, there is a probability it will not give the right locator. So someone has to go and look into it, like whether the locator is correct or no. And if it is taking time to heal something or perform some operation, you're losing your time there, right? So that is also a factor. It might get efficient in future. There is no doubt about it. Okay, but currently that is my take. Like it is little bit error prone, and the cost for that is very high.
Okay.
So there is no term called open source. Selenium, you are not giving any money to Selenium, right? It
Right.
is free. You can use it. Here you have to use some key, open API key or DeepSeek key or something like that. So that is my take on that.
I feel that you are always aware about the trends which is going into the market, right? As well as
Yes,
you always learn the things from the industry experts. So I want to know
yes.
who are the persons or who are the key motivators for you?
Okay. So first of all, starting with my close circle, Vishwanath Pujar and Subhash Krishnappa, these two people are also like playwright experts.
Okay.
I would say them, not playwright experts, overall experts.
Mhm.
So whenever I have some issues or something, they give me the solution and they work in hand with me to develop this framework. They are giving the inputs.
Okay.
Without their inputs, this would not be possible. Second is Naveen. Naveen Automation Labs is always there.
Mhm.
He's I have got some suggestions from his channel as well, and he keeps on like giving new videos. So that is one thing. And let's put with Kaushik. He specifically for Playwright and JavaScript. His tutorials are also very good.
Mhm.
And last channel, which I think every quality assurance engineer or tester should follow, is automation with Joe Colantonio. Okay, so this guy every week he gives what is latest testing news in industry, right? So you will be aware of all the things what is happening in the industry, and he compresses it just within 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, you will know each and every news there is there to testing, be it security testing, pen testing, performance testing. So this is the channel everyone should follow. So that is where I get my updates from. And in LinkedIn, there is some channel called as Ministry of Testing as well. So in that also they keep on putting articles what is going on. So there also you can follow.
Right.
So be on LinkedIn and you can search for channels on YouTube. So in that way, and it will just take within a week only 10 minutes of your week,
Right.
right, to get upgraded. And if you like the tool, you can go and further dig into the tool. Like
Right.
if something is there, and you'll be aware of the domain, what is going on currently,
Right.
which AI agents are in use, what is going on in security testing, what is going on in penetration or performance testing. So yeah, that is my advice. So yeah, you can go and check out the channel.
Right. Right. I want
Hmm.
one more advice from you.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Like you are contributing into the open source, right? And
Uh-huh.
we all work for ourselves, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
work for something, but we hesitate to,
Mm-hmm.
showcase to the audience or want.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we want to contribute into the open source, but we feel, that we are not enough. Our knowledge is not enough to contribute as a open source contributor, right? So, what all advices you can suggest to the professionals who are interested into this open source?
Okay. So Shikant, I have a take on this. Like, if you want to work on something, you work for yourself, and it will not happen in one day. And what happened with me,
Mhm.
uh, yeah, there is some work involved, and there was the right time to market as well, right? So what people are in mindset is, if I go and give my first commit and all,
Mhm.
so like next day it will start going viral. So that is not the case. So my advice would be open source. Rather than doing for open source, do it for yourself first.
Okay.
Okay, go and you commit something,
Mhm.
you commit it for yourself. Don't expect like people will come and they will start giving you stars and they will start giving you issues and all. First, start to do things by yourself. Okay, and second thing is once you have done, you go on the LinkedIn. and you join a community and you say like this is my work, so I want some suggestions, some feedback. And LinkedIn community is very good. They will come back with various suggestions.
Hmm.
Your message box might be full with their suggestions, like this can be done, this, and you can ask them also. You can come and you just raise a pull request, and if you like the idea you can merge the code in that pull request. So
Right.
that is there, and there are lots of projects. I was just going through one project.
Mhm.
I think its name is Friday AI Agent. Okay, so this is by a tester named Deep Jyoti, Dipjyothi, Deep Jyoti. Okay, so it is currently work in progress.
Mhm.
So that means there is a scope for improvement. You can go and contribute your test project. Okay, and if you are feeling little hesitant, like okay, if I contribute, something might break. You can go and test, right? You will get defects. As you are tester, you have like various test cases in your head. You can do this, that, this, that. So once it breaks, you can give the information to him. So that is currently work in progress. So if you want to start automation, I would say you can pick up like not endorsing anything, but you can pick up that project because it is in a nascent stage. It is working project. It is called Friday AI Test Agent.
Okay.
So I was just going through LinkedIn and some of the channels I got, and uh, the specialty of this project is it will go to your Jira board,
Mhm.
it will take your user story, and it will create test cases.
Okay.
Okay, so rather than you going in user story and writing test cases, it will give the test cases for you. Let's say it gives you some 10 test cases, positive scenarios. Your work is reduced. You can just focus on negative or some of the scenario it has skipped, right?
Right.
So you can work on that as well, or you can contribute in that project. So that is my take on that. And yeah, like you can go to any project also. You can go to Selenium also. You can do testing. And see, one thing is time is required for that. You have to take some time out of your professional work.
Right. Right.
There will be some Saturdays and Sundays you need to sacrifice, and
Right.
there will be some late nights also. Okay, so you should be ready for that. But the thing is, once you start getting excited about that project or the thing, right?
Right.
You will feel it is not a job. You will feel it is like what they say. You'll enjoy the work, right?
Right.
So be it Saturday or Sunday, that thing will be running in your mind. Next what? Next what?
Right.
What can I do? How can I do? Okay, so that will keep you motivated. Once you get hooked on to that. So
Mm.
my suggestion is that only, like open source. Just don't think I'm doing for open source. You think I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing one project which I feel is usable for me, right? So based on your challenges, you frame a project. Then you can go on LinkedIn and host it. Like you say, like this is that. So people will come up with some more challenges they are facing after using your framework,
Right.
right? So that is one thing I would advise.
Okay. Akshay, as you said, this open source thing, right?
Uh-huh.
Contributing to this open source ecosystem requires time, right?
Correct, correct,
Whereas, I feel that sometimes your effort not getting recognized, right?
correct.
In that situation, what all things motivates you to contribute, still contribute into the open source world? I mean, as you said, we get the recognition, we do the, I mean, extra work. But here, you have to invest the time. You are not getting the recognition. Then still, I mean, you are motivated enough to do the contribution, right? So, what all motivations you have? I mean, in those situations.
Okay, so more than motivation, I would say it is a learning, right? You have that's why I said in the previous question, the mindset should be different. You should not straight away go into open source and say like, today I have committed, might be within 1 year I will get 500 stars or 600 stars. Okay, then things might go your way, things might not go your way, right? So if you are keeping the expectation like that, you will be a little bit disappointed. So that's why you do it for yourself, right? You are going and committing there rather than you are learning from the process, right? You are facing some challenges. Okay, no need of LinkedIn or community and all. You can go to your friends and also ask, right? You will have same colleagues who
Right.
will be of like-minded colleagues. Okay, if you are interested in Playwright or say Selenium, there'll be colleague who will be interested in Playwright and Selenium. He might want to do something. You to start a project. Okay, it will be learning for you too. It might not help in, okay, let's say for some reason in open source it didn't flew off. Okay, still you can give it in your resume, right?
Mm.
So in your other jobs or in your career or in your current company or upcoming company, you might face the same challenge which you had faced in this project, which
Mm.
you are doing as a hobby, right?
Right.
That time you are the better person to advise there.
Mm.
So rather than motivation, there will be learning from this process. So that is what I feel.
Okay.
And this open source, another thing, I don't know whether I should be saying this.
Mhm.
More than there will be hard work. There are a lot of hard work, but there is a luck factor and time to market as well.
Right.
Right? During my time, there was no Playwright with TypeScript.
Right.
Right? Had I done with Selenium TypeScript, Selenium JavaScript, might be it would have not have been recognized.
Right.
But then I know, like I'm aware of Selenium with JavaScript.
Right.
Tomorrow, if some project comes with Selenium with JavaScript, I know something or the other in that project, right? So that is the mentality I want to have.
Right. 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 Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So Akshay, I mean, we are talking about this open source and all, right? And talking about your contribution into the project.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to understand right now, a lot of boiler projects are also available, right? Anyone can go and download it simply
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in the project. So in that comparison, what all key features available in your open source framework, which you use
Okay.
for the community, right?
Yes. Okay. How my project is different from the others is, first thing is, like I'm giving them environment variables. You can give test my project in like a QA, dev, or any environment you can set up. Okay. Second thing which I'm giving them is using GitHub Actions. Okay, so I have a project which is pre GitHub Action configured. So once you run, you will get all the notifications in the Slack channel. Right, that is there. Then I'm giving them Lighthouse as well for performance testing, high level performance testing, not like page performance. So for them, I'm giving this Lighthouse. Okay, and I have used fixtures in Playwright, so that makes your code very less. So instead of in Java, right, you write login page is equal to new login page. And in each and every page, you have to initialize that. Okay. Like login page is equal to new login page and all those things. Okay. But here what I've done is I've used pictures. So in base page, you can declare all the variables once.
Mhm.
Then instead of writing login page is equal to new login page every time, you can just use the variable, right? Login page directly. So that is also there in my end framework. And then another feature which I'm giving is commands is also already there, serial commands and all. No need for you to again go and configure and write the framework again. Docker is also there. Docker also have configured. There is Sonar Cube as well if you want to work on that. So these are some of the extra features, and DB connection is also there using Postgres. Right? These are all the extra features which I am giving along with Playwright. So on top of Playwright, I have made this feature integrated with Playwright. You can say it like that.
Okay.
So these are few of the features which I'm providing. And there is logger as well, Winston logger for giving you good logs. And main thing is I have given a very good readme section. I have put some effort in that so that if person comes,
Mhm.
he can read the section and he can get all his doubts cleared in readme section itself. Okay, rather than approaching me first, if he reads the readme section, his most of the doubts will get cleared and how the framework works, right? So that's why I have written an elaborate readme section for my project. So yeah, these are some of the features for my project.
Nice, nice, nice. So, Akshay, as of now, what all rewarding moments you have, experienced in your journey?
Okay. So one thing is the love for the framework. I never thought like it would gain so much like love from the users.
Mhm.
And at one point of time, like 10K users were using that. In GitHub, we will not get total overall stat. We get weekly stats.
Mhm.
So like 10K people are using that framework. Okay. And one of the key persons whom I met was Jay. I think he's been your podcast, Jay Kishore Dubiri.
Uh, Last.
Yeah. So he was also the first person to like come and contribute to my framework. We had discussions. He used to give some article about accessibility testing, and like we are good friends via LinkedIn,
Okay.
right? So because of this project, I have met so many new people.
Right.
And second is the comments you get. That is also very heartwarming comments you get, like because if project this problem is solved and all, that is very rewarding thing for me. And third is I am happy that I could do something to the community,
Right.
right? Like I had always thought of like there could be something like I've used so much thing from the community, like I'm using Selenium from so many years.
Right.
So I wanted to give back to community. So this is one thing I'm happy about. Like I was able to do something to this testing community, not in large manner, but little bit in a small manner as well. So that is one thing which I'm very much satisfied and happy about. So yeah,
Nice.
so that is there.
Okay.
Eh,
Nice, Akshay. Next question would be a little tricky for you. Okay.
mhm,
So it's like for JS and TS, a lot of tools are available, right? WebDriver, you can go with WebDriver, you can go with Cypress, right? So
mhm,
if this playwright does not exist, okay, or it will not be there, okay,
mhm.
will not be there or not be present in the current scenario. So which tool you would prefer?
Actually, it is none of this. I would
Okay.
go for APM
Okay.
because I have not done mobile testing in my life, to be frank. Yeah. And the person Vishwanath Pujar with whom I am talking, I went for Playwright, he went for APM. So
Okay.
I'm getting knowledge from him. So that is one tool I would like to explore. I haven't explored it yet. I have done one simple automation of booking a Ola cab in APM, but that is very, very basic. And
Right.
that is one space I have not explored. And Playwright gives support for emulation, mobile emulation, and Android as well. So that is one of the feature of Playwright. But still, I wanted to try APM. So that is one of the thing I would have done if it was not for Playwright.
Okay.
So we had both tools in mind. So my friend said, "Okay, I will go with APM." Okay, then I said, "Okay, let's try Playwright."
Right.
So both we can share the knowledge what we have. So yeah, that is one tool which I would like to use.
Right. 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 Good. 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 Okay. And the last question for this,
Mhm.
uh, any advices you want to give to the freshers or the experienced who are into functional part but want to move into automation?
Okay. So first piece of advice is learn the basics clearly. Okay. Uh, and second thing is where I stopped earlier was in collection,
Okay.
right? Once you get into Java collections, we are not using more than that collections, right? In framework as well. But that is one of the thing which I realized later that DSA is required, data structures and algorithms. Okay, there are so many channels. Dinesh Varyani is there, Kunal Kushwaha is there, Code with Harry. There are so many channels.
Right.
So I would advise like uh, you start reading DSA as well. Okay, it will improve your thinking. Okay, so that is one thing, and I'm not an expert in DSA also. I'm very beginner in DSA, and that I realized like 10 years after I was in the industry that DSA is also very important.
Right.
Before that it was like okay, until collection it is fine, I'm not going to use anywhere and all. But after learning DSA you will get so much of the ideas. Okay, third important advice is read the logs. So
Okay.
that is one piece of advice which I have not forgot till now. Whatever the error, read the log file and try to like debug from the log file before you go to Google or anyone for help. Start reading log files and what it is trying to say. So that is there. And fourth piece of advice would be, yeah, there will be this going on race going on. Yeah, is not going to take your job.
Right. Right.
So have some personal time for yourself. This will be there. Automation is there. Your job is there. Then open source is there. Everything is there. But take a time, relax, take time for yourself. So that is one of my advice. Like, don't get too much into this hustle culture. Like, hustle, I have to do something, I have to do something. AI is coming, it will take my job.
Right. Right.
So one thing I would like to say is when in my initial phases, didn't give which language to learn. Okay, Java is there.
Mm.
Someone will say JavaScript is number one. Okay, I will go and learn JavaScript. Tomorrow again, hey, AI is come. There is Python. Python is number one. I will learn Python. Okay, so this there will be rat race. Do this that.
Right.
So my advice would be, this is confusion most of the freshers would have, which I feel, and most of the experience also. So I would say pick one language which is close to your heart.
Mm.
Maybe Java, maybe JavaScript, TypeScript, and you have to make your basic strong in that particular one language.
Right.
Rest of the language you can pick up. And going forward, if you see this, right, Java 21, 22, they have these lambda functions. Okay, it is getting closer towards JavaScript. If you see both the programs, it might look similar
Right.
coming forward. Like syntax will not change. So I would say pick up one programming language, be thorough in it,
Mm.
very much thorough, and keep other languages as your secondary and tertiary language. And if you are facing any interview,
Mm.
okay, interview will never force you to writing like you have to write in JavaScript. Like there might be requirement, but
Right.
if it is a good interviewer, what I feel, and this is my personal opinion, if there is a good interviewer and good company, they will never tell you to like write in that specific language. They just want to check your logic.
Logic.
Okay, they will tell you write the abstract as well. Okay, you write the abstract. So then whatever is there, that is there. Okay. And fourth piece of advice is,
Mm.
you might be trained on Java, but you might have to work on JavaScript. So that is the reality of industry. You might have worked on automation. You will go to the company. They will say you have to work on manual.
Right.
That is, and you are getting paid for that.
Right.
Okay, it is not free work. So what you will do? People say like I'm not getting automation.
Right.
Okay, so you take your personal time if you want to learn the subject. You have to take your personal time and you have to learn automation. Be it automation, AI, what you are saying, right?
Right.
If
Right.
you have learned AI,
Mm.
okay, in next company you might not get project on AI, right? They are just hiring you. You might be a Python engineer or something. You are getting paid for that job. Okay, so don't be in that fixed mindset that I have done Java Selenium, so I will only code in Java Selenium, or I have done automation training, AI training, I will go to industry first day only I will get AI training, and I'll start writing automation. No, it is not, it is not there. In my whole entire career I have not seen like you go directly and they will give directly, tomorrow you start automating, right? You might have to work manual, and it is good also because you will understand the functionality.
Right.
So rather than thinking when my chance will come, you can start a side project. Okay,
Correct.
so those are some of my bits of advices. Yeah.
Thanks, Akshay, for sharing your journey as well as
Yeah.
the love you have for Playwright. You have shown
Yes.
on this episode. So I'm sure that audience will love this conversation and they will get to know about Playwright.
Yes.
I mean the capabilities, and they start using Playwright. Maybe
Hmm.
some of them, maybe they reach to you and they discuss some of their,
Yes.
right. So thanks again for joining.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for inviting me. I hope this conversation would be helpful for many. And yeah, if you have any queries regarding Playwright, or if you want to contribute something, you are always free to reach. Like I'm always free,
Mhm.
so you can reach me out on LinkedIn. So yeah, I will respond to you. So
Thanks.
yeah, it was a good conversation, Shrikant. All the best.